I used to be a third generation Jehovah's Witness. I was an elder.
Say what? Wait.
Yeah,
Blow our minds away. Third
yeah,
generation Jehovah's Witness and used to be an elder?
correct. I was a
And we
watchtower
got to bring you on
overseer.
to share your testimony. So what happened?
So long story short, I was a barber, and one of my coworkers was a Muslim. I ended up convincing him that Islam was false, and I tried to convince him that Jehovah's Witnesses were true. The next day, he came back with some information on Charles Taze Russell, our founder, and I read it, and I told him, hey, no, that's not true. That's why you can't believe everything on the internet. But it bothered me because it was a reputable source. So that led me to just say, you know what, if that is true, what else don't I know about Jehovah's Witnesses? And then I went down the rabbit hole, and then, I found out all kinds of things. My wife was a pioneer. We were known in the whole state, like several states we were known.
Before you
And
move
then,
on, let people understand what amazing testimony. He's not only an old elder, his wife was a pioneer. He's going to explain why that's important. And notice how God rocked his foundation. A Muslim that left Islam went and studied about Charles Taze Russell and found out that Charles Taze Russell was a false teacher who uttered false prophecies that were proven false. So the foundation of Jehovah's Witnesses is rotten. It rocked him enough to go and find out whether it's true, and it shook his faith. Now, explain, when you say your wife is a pioneer, why does that important signal? Because a lot of people don't know what it means to be a pioneer.
A pioneer is somebody who's exemplary in the congregation, who's looked at like, she's higher than, everybody else. Like she should be, the most spiritual in the congregation. Somebody like that, somebody who would never leave Jehovah. So it not only rocked my world, it took me a year to tell her, because if you, in that religion, if you tell your wife something like that, chances are she's going to leave you. You know what I mean?
Did you catch that, guys? If they knew he had apostatized, she may have left him and they disfellowship him where his family won't speak to him anymore.
Yep. And that's exactly what happened. We decided, instead of coming out and saying it, let's just move away, disappear, and start over fresh. We did that, but they wound up finding out anyway. So we lost everybody that we know from infancy up until now. They stopped speaking to us.
Did you guys hear this? I'm trying to emphasize testimony. When the Jehovah's Witnesses found out, they left the society. Remember, he's a third generation Jehovah's Witness. That means all his family were Jehovah's Witnesses. None of them talked to him or his wife. They're disowned in this fellowship. They're alone.
Yeah. So like I said, Walter Martin, it's a whole bunch of people that, we were studying and listening to. But when I came across you, I'm like, babe, this might be the best debater / Bible teacher I've ever heard in my life. And one point that I heard the other day was when you talked about Jesus's not only his omnipresence, but where was he dwelling before there was a dwelling place. That's so irrefutable. That's like a bombshell if you come to Jehovah's Witnesses like that. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to know, where can I find it? Because I know you said you had an article.
Yeah, let me get the article. I did a session. Now, what he's asking, brethren, pay attention. Thank the Lord that in spite of my imperfections and my very bold approach, that God softens hearts to take the solid information and use it. So I appreciate the Lord working through him to say, ignore this man when he unleashes on these heretics. Focus on the facts. That's what I want you guys to do. You may not like my personality. That's okay. I don't like my personality. Take my facts, study them to see if I'm right. Now, I'm going to give you the article, you and them. I wrote an article because I started reflecting what would be a very good way to rock the foundation of the Jehovah's Witnesses. And this came to me. It's titled The Irrationality of Arianism. Let me get you the article. And I'm going to break down the argument so you understand why this really rocked him as well. Because according to Jehovah's Witness teaching, and he'll confirm if I'm right or wrong, Jehovah the Father alone is the creator. When he produced the Archangel Michael, who later becomes the man Jesus, he creates through Jesus, but Jesus is not a co-creator. He's a passive instrument that the Father used and worked through to create everything else. So they believe that the Archangel Michael existed before the heavens and the earth. There were no heavens, no earth. So this Archangel Michael, remember he's an archangel, was there before heavens and earth. Now we have a problem. Now, if you check your private chat, brother, here's the article. You see it right there? I sent it to you in private chat.
Perfect. Thank you.
Now, guys, I'm going to put it on the screen and I'm going to show it to you. Now, you ask them if the Archangel Michael, who later becomes Jesus, was there before the heavens and the earth. Is it not true? And I quote their sources, by the way, in that article. I quote their own writings to show, yes, the Archangel Michael was used by Jehovah because Jehovah created through him to create the heavens and the earth. So the Archangel Michael was there before the heavens and the earth. Okay, now watch. Let me show you the article. You ask them, angelic spirits, creatures, and human beings need a dwelling place. Because if you read the Bible, the heavens were created, and then after the heavens, those who dwell therein were created because they need a place to dwell. Same thing with the earth. The earth was created, and then mankind, because men need a place to dwell. Now, if Jesus is the Archangel Michael, as an angelic creature, he has to have a dwelling place, like all angelic creatures. So where was Jesus dwelling when there was no place to dwell in? According to them, the Archangel Michael was there before there was a dwelling place, before there was a place, because you don't have place or space when you don't have heavens and earth. Here's the article. Okay, so then you ask them, how can the Archangel Michael, who's a spirit creature, who needs space and place, let me just put it on my screen, exist without a dwelling place? Where was his dwelling place? Well, you only have one option. The only being that doesn't require space and place is God. So if the Archangel Michael exists before space and place, that means he must be existing in God, with God, and is inseparable from him. But nothing in God can be created. So you're back to the early church fathers and their view of eternal generation. There's the article, you see?
Yep. Wow.
And I quote them.
That's irrefutable.
I mean, they believe this, and he was taught this. Jesus was the Archangel Michael. Heavens and earth came after him. The only being that doesn't need place, space to dwell, the only being is God, because he was there before there was space and place. Everything else needs space and place. Even this creation of heavens and earth is mind-blowing because he brings heavens and earth into existence from nothing. How does that work? We don't know. But heavens and earth, that's when space and place begins to exist. Then God creates creatures to fill heaven and earth, to dwell therein. You will not find the Bible saying angels were there before the heaven. They can't be, because they need heaven to dwell in. That's why even when the creation of the earth, you'll notice earth is formed, then the animals, then the sea and marine life, and because you need a place. But if Jesus is an angel, archangel, he needs a place. But there was no place when Jesus supposedly came into being, because there was no heaven and earth. How then can he exist in nothingness? The only way he can exist is in God. But if he exists in God, with God, nothing in God is created.
Yeah, so thank you, brother.